for Africa.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup will be organized in South Africa.
This time for Africa.
It is important that in your definition of Red Africa is you also define what it is not. That will help you root offsides and undesirable behaviors. Africa's time has come in now.
Turning it through. It's on here now. The goalkeeper's beaten, and South Africa have their first goal. Sipiwe Shabalala, on the day he wins his 50th cap, has given South Africa a glorious moment.
Oh my, sanibonani igama lami ngokini waka Shandu kadilela ukuwela iDaily Thetha namhlanje. Njengoba usubonile ke sikungeza amazubela ente eyenzakalayo ngo2010 lapho sasine World Cup khona. And igama lami ngoba sengishilo kanti uyena otoleka limi nezandla suthi fortune wakaMandlala. Into esikhuluma namhlanje sikhuluma about the World Cup legacy. Ziningi izinto ezapromiswayo makuthiwa sizohosta. Abantu abaningi babona ukuthi ilona thuba lokuthi bazowenza ngale imali nanomnotho uzothuthuka naneindawo zabo eziningazi kuzothuthukisa amahotela. Sazibona sesingena kakhulukazi in2018 tourism kakhulukazi abantu ba-convert imizi yabo bayenza ama-BnB, but namhlanje sifuna ukwazi ukuthi lokho kwabasiza kuphi na. And namhlanje ke ngomunye wabantu abasekhaya as well othi wena wabenefita kakhulukazi wena kuziwa lapho sifuna usifonele usitshele ukuthi wena wabenefita kanjani, buphi ubuhlo wabona benzeka nge-2010 World Cup idlanzana nje labantu elabenefitayo ngokubona kwakho. Give us a call, it's 011-339-1315. Find us enkundleni zokuxhumana as well. The hashtag is iDaily Thetha. Nicolette, abantu abaningi bavula amabhizinisi, abanye baze ba-convert izindlu zabo zaba ama-BnB. Watholani wena nge-2010 World Cup?
Ngabona igoli cha. I actually don't remember anything about 2010. We were so excited. After Sipiwe Shabalala scored, and then we just never made it past that, I forgot about the World Cup.
Ngababona abantu abaningi behlumula that were close to me, including abanye be-supply ama-screens, abanye benza ama-t-shirts, abanye benza ama-painting. Kuningi okuhle kwenzakala, but abantu abasemakhaya abaningi bakhala ukuthi hayi thina sabona igoli. That's the only legacy sasalana.
Abafana nami nakalibitso ke na Nicolette waka Mashile mwana wakwa Bosch Bakrish Mapulaneng. But let's have this conversation. Rukwa na when ubone yinka World Cup, what is the one thing ailing memorable? But before we go into that, let's welcome our studio audience. Seswaka arthome moga wena re kwe gore na wena na o gopola yeng ka 2010 ka World Cup.
Okay, mina igama nguThembelihle wakaSibeko. World Cup, it was the vibe was so, like we were so alive as people because we thought this opportunity was ours. We were going to get new developments, especially election.
What kind of developments were you expecting?
Our sports ground, we were told that the small sports groups, they were going to be groomed so that they can also participate in such projects. But that was just the dream. They sold us a dream because at the end of the day, we just saw the kids. They were still at home. It was just a dream. Now we thought South Africa was going to prove us wrong. Okay, we're also going to go up and also be represented. And then it was just that goal, and it ended there. It was such a disappointment, especially to me.
Skis, I'm sorry that you were disappointed. There was a little bit of benefits. We got social cohesion. I mean, South Africans. Africans. We had people coming from different parts of Africa, you know what I mean? And then also brand South Africa. I mean, we did okay.
But then again, let's look at the legacy. It happened, it was 30 days, but now after that, what do we have? Let me come to X next to me. X, ngokubona kwakho yini sayizuzayo nge-2010 World Cup as isizwe?
Molweni igama lami ndingoxolisa. Honestly, mna from where I'm coming from, I unboni in 2010 ngayikhomba ukuthi this is the result of the 2010 World Cup.
What about imigwaqo? What about transport nezinye zezinto ezazikwazi ukuthi ithuthukise imphakathi?
There was ukwakhiwa kwe what do you call this? Stadium. Okay. I'm not sure if it was after. Yeah. I think it was after. Yeah. But so it was like many years. But sisokhiwa nangoku, like there's nothing happening. Tina sisadlalela nje, you know, kwezi fields zingekho right.
Mawuthi Tina ushuta abantu bakuphi?
I'm coming from Eastern Cape. Yeah, eKomani, eLingi.
Okay, cool. So Nicolette, let's come to your side, and also, you know, in dimensional, kuna ma stadiums amakhandwa amaningi, but now I struggle shakona na ma stadiums as well.
How Eastern Cape ayithola stadium?
Bathola sincane.
Oh, bathola sincane. Okay, I know it makes sense. My sister, maybe perhaps let's also speak to your urukwerna. Go where now? What are some of the developments that you were expecting? Did you get those developments? You know, we're speaking about stadiums. What other developments, soccer development, what other developments were you expecting? Did you see it? Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect much.
Okay, why? 13 billion rand yonke. You didn't expect anything.
Oh, because this is the cycle of deception. We get promises and then at the end of the day, they're not fulfilled. But we did get a better transport system,
yes.
a train, and we did get people employed there. You see, but now it stopped there. It's been 8 years now, but still the routes haven't developed, you know, and I would love to travel for 3 hours and get Seguin. How train. I'm sure
but we should have known. Maybe it's a how train. We should have known.
But for that much, that's that amount of money.
Yeah.
I'm a person who believes that once you have the resources, we did have the resources, but then it's how we implement those resources that, you know, determine how far we go.
My brother, she's speaking about how train and there was development. Do you think this development was only just for the urban areas? Rural areas, man, except for when they're doing cutaways and filming, because they must show Africa, the real Africa.
Kamalam ngulebani sirenji. Mina into engayibonayo lapha emadolobheni yakwaba lo tshintsho estadium lasemgwaqweni, but ku business side ebantwini mina ngangisenza i-face painting, ngithengisa lama gloves nezikhava kanjalo. Even manje ngisaselabo abantu engangisebenza nabo sisenza i-face painting makulama derbies siyahamba siyenza khona spend abantu sithola imali. So ngicabanga ukuthi mina ngabenefita kakhulu nge-World Cup 2010.
Kini, here's a good story.
It is a good story indeed, but njoba sikhuluma ke nje as judge, but into esizama ukuyenza ukubheka ukuthi la suka khona 8 years from ago to now kwenzakaleni. Kuhlwana, there's something mentioned on the other side saying ukuthi na how train sayibona yenzakala, Ria Vaya sayibona yenzakala. Do you think wonke iningi labantu la benefita from i-World Cup ka 2010 or only the selected few?
I think that it was only the selected few that actually benefited from everything, because and the only parts that were actually fixed were when you travel from FNB on Soweto Highway, passing Orlando Stadium up to Evilagazi. The rest of the places, Abo, Klepspruit and other places, they didn't actually bother fixing them because tourists weren't taken there. You were just supposed to see, okay, Mandela lived here, this is whatever stadium it is.
So conversation is now namhlanje. Make sure that ekhaya uyasifonela as well or ushayele hashtag ebalekile, which is daily Thetha sizuthi umbono wakho thina about this. Are you one of the abantu ababenefitayo or umehluko uyawubona even ungabenefitanga or nawe ufana no Nicolette wabona igoli ka Simphiwe Shabalala kuphela yona into oyikhumbulayo?
Ana kunyakerilebala bafana batamteam. Still this year I qualify. I mean, honestly speaking, we've got African countries the likes of Nigeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Senegal. Bakenne bona ko ba re ba level TV. Bafana ika. This is what we're going to be discussing right after the break. Welcome back to Daily Thetha. And Zerbla World Cup legacy on 2010 na. And did we actually achieve all the things that we had been promised? Because it was the first African World Cup on African soil. I mean, FIFA was going on about African humanity, but did we actually get all the promises that they had actually put on the forefront? We are joined to have this conversation. Lintate Amos Mananyetso, who's the the deputy editor of Sunday World, and obviously Ntate Phil Masinga, who is, I mean, Malema Wamatseba, you know, he's played soccer. He's just a legend in the making. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's get into this conversation, and maybe perhaps Lorona Ntate Amosi, we are very gullible as Batwako South Africa, but we were told sports development, tourism, brand loyalty, What are some of these things that were actually promised that were on paper, let's put it that way?
I think in terms of promises, we need to look at it in different ways, because in most cases, all people look at is physical things that they were expecting to see, like your roads, better infrastructure, stadiums and so on and so on. But there were other things that were promised that were not really things that you could touch.
So it's tangible.
And I'm talking about things like sports administration or soccer administration. We were supposed to learn from how FIFA was doing things or how they did things when they were here, in order for us to implement those things long after the World Cup was finished. But, you know, did we do that? I'm not sure, because if you look at the same person who was the CEO of the World Cup, Ntate Dani Jordan. He's now the president of SAFA, re-elected, I think, for the second term now. He's got his own issues, personal issues, where he's facing serious allegations, you know, against him. And a lot of people are saying maybe he should step aside until these, you know, allegations have been thoroughly dealt with in a court of law and so on and so on. But he has not done that. I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but I'm just putting it out there as one of those things, saying at the moment probably people are looking at and asking a lot of questions. If you look at the PSL, the last time that the PSL had a CEO was in November 2015. So more than 2 years now, there has not been a permanent CEO. You know, is it good or is it bad for football? I don't know.
Of course it is bad. Let's not go there. But let's look at the LOC. What was Umsebenze LOC, and did they achieve what they were trying to do?
I would say yes, because I mean, I will be subjective, of course, because fortunately at the time the World Cup was here, I was working for FIFA as part of the LOC. I was the marketing manager in Tshwane. So our job was more operations, was to deliver you know, what was supposed to be delivered. Obviously policy and everything else coming from FIFA and government through legislation, because we remember that there was a special act that was passed in Parliament to deal with the World Cup. So
I really want to ask you, but it's fine. Carry on.
Yeah, so that was part of the bells and whistles anyway. So we did what we had to do. Game started on time, the grass was green, food was there, drinks were there, transport was there. You know, I don't remember people getting injured, you know. So we did what we had to do. But as to whether we took that legacy forward to implement it here at home, now? I don't know. We saw what happened in Durban. We saw what happened in Pretoria twice last year. You know, I mean...
Let's bring in Ophil on this conversation, because we want to find out ukuthi ngokubona kwakho as the legend ukuthi isize ngani i-World Cup ka-2010 in Eningizimu Africa.
Yeah, actually, I was part of the 2010 bid, and in 2004, when we won the bid, football was not professional in South Africa. And immediately after winning the 2010 bid, we had more corporate companies coming to football. You had your ABSA giving sponsors to PSL. Yes, then you had your SuperSport buying the rights for 2 billion. And the football of South Africa changed. That's why most of our players, they don't go to Europe now. They don't need to go to Europe to make money. They make money at home, meaning it has helped a bit.
Maybe perhaps let's take it to the audience and find out, my brother Khorna, what do you feel? You know, football became a little bit more professional post 2010 or post 2004 when we were, you know, preparing for 2010.
Yeah, man, I'm from like Nguyemdeni, and my cast me like castle pola. So we did get a few things like maybe sports ground, the C1. Mara we got Mara these days. Asadlaleli na kulo because in the agui poor states as 76, so we went back to our old grounds, which you know those dead grounds and those old ones. So not many people benefit from those, because abantu abaningi abasukanga. We still have those teams, same players, playing for same teams. No one, no elevated, or yes, for some teams. Like
so,
people.
So you're saying, yes, during the World Cup, there were infrastructure, but we sustain them. That was a problem.
Different, yeah.
Professionalism seems to have happened at the top part.
Let's come to you, feeling Mpela, on that part. Do you think Uguti, yes, isn't a busy corner, but I plan to sustain those things?
Yes, I would say so, because most of the areas that they've tried to develop, the maintenance was not that good, and we can't run away from that. But at the same time, we need to see more school football, because during our days, we got to play professional football while still attending school. I mean, we don't see many of them lately. When I joined Cosmos, I was 17 and a half years, and I started playing for Cosmos when I was 17 and a half years, and played for 7 years before I moved overseas. Then we don't see that more often, but the teams, they've gone better in terms of development. Each and every team, they've got smooth developments.
So why is Bafana not getting into the World Cup? Because we're soccer, especially when you don't know soccer, like a person like me and probably some females outside, and we get disappointed every single time. If the development has happened in that field or in that Amos, why Bafana qualify for Tomidi?
I think most of our players are competing locally, and then we think that competing locally, we are big stars.
Okay.
Going to Europe, sometimes it helps. It's not only about money, that I'm going to earn better money. And most of our players leave South Africa. Within a year or 2 years, they are back at home. And then you watch our under-20 playing World Cup, playing against teams like Italy.
Yes.
And you find that the competition was unfair in terms of competing in the field of play.
I don't know whether almost ungasho umbono ohlukile no sure feeling njengamanje ekuthenini sisadinga ukuthi sibona more players going overseas, and some of them they act like they are superstars here. When it comes to international stages, they're failing to give us the proper result.
Look, that's one part of the solution, but also I think in terms of long-term planning, we don't really do it that well here at home. Look at Italy now. They didn't qualify for the World Cup. What they are going to do in terms of qualifying for the next World Cup is very clear in their plans. The squad that they want to develop for 2022, all the players are not even 22, and because they know how to get there. If you look at Japan, when they were hosting with Korea in 2002, they had the same squad playing together for 7 years out of the country. Do you understand? Preparing for the World Cup that they were going to host. So, but we tend to think, very short term. We talk about youth development. We talk about starting from scratch. When you'll see when we go to the next round of qualifiers.
But then
half of the squad will be more than 25 years of age, which doesn't help.
When you say that, back then there was this school competition, like where we're recruiting our players, and then World Cup come in. We thought that now sizobanama development angonywana, but then again, looking at now us in 8 years after, we are still struggling with the same thing. All the players, even on the World Cup, we still think that they can do contribution angonywana. What is happening? What is this? Where is this legacy going?
Is the model broken?
I think, it is. And like Brafil said earlier, there's no proper football being played at schools at the moment. As to why, I don't know. Because I remember during my schooling days, even when I started journalism, there used to be USASA, which was sports organization for all the schools in the country, not only in soccer but in all the other codes. Now it's no longer happening, and I think it's a political issue which I don't want us to go into at the moment. So I think, like Brafil is saying, we need to go back to basics. People like him.
Okay, but we know this. Why are we then not going back to the basics? And perhaps maybe we'll talk about it in the next segment. Let's just quickly go to social media. Bonisani Shabangur, the big dogs on top definitely benefited, and our second team lost pathetically as usual. What people gained were broken eardrums and swelled lips by vuvuzelas. These events are tools to distract the masses from the truth. I wonder in 2010, these truths that Mzansi is speaking about, but we're going to be discussing more of this after the break.
it was a greatest opportunity of my career to host the World Cup. And the cherry on top was hosting the World Cup in your backyard, which is South Africa. So if you think about countries like Australia and most of the countries that have never hosted World Cup, how lucky we are, the so-called third world country, to hold such a big tournament. I was doing commentary. It was nice to see the likes of Spain, who became the champions individually in 2010. I did the match against Brazil, and I did the opening match with South Africa against Mexico, and I observed the first ever goal that was scored for the World Cup in the African continent, and that goal happened to be scored by Spier Shabalala.
Lisa turning it third. It's on here now. The goalkeeper's beaten, and South Africa have their first goal. Spier Shabalala, on the day he wins his 50th cap, has given South Africa a glorious moment.
I got to learn how to write a team list. You know, sometimes small things. Writing a team list can be big in assisting you broadcasting the game. Those guys, they taught me that if you write a team list, write it in a format that is in the field. Because I used to write it from 1 to 11. They said, no, put it in a form of a team, or like exactly in the field. 4-3-3 is the formation. Ever since I've been doing that, I've been the best. If I commentate, you think I know all the players. It's not necessarily that I know all the players. It's because of the format that I'm using. Those things I learned from the people overseas. The stadiums that we have in this country, it is as a result of hosting the World Cup. You've got the FNB, which is one of the biggest stadiums in the world. In actual fact, Russia will be hosting the World Cup. They built the stadium similar to the FNB stadium because of the influence that the 2010 World Cup has done. Right now, recently, we just hosted the biggest soccer team in the world, Barcelona, where in our World Cup stadiums, that was resulted because of the World Cup. We have to make sure that we support football, and the teams are responsible for developing young players, involve the parents that will be able to support their kids going to the stadium so that the stadiums are always full. I think every supporter, every stakeholder in football has a role to play in making sure that we sustain those beautiful stadiums that we have. I don't see us hosting World Cup in a lifetime, but South Africa is a loved country. Our next generation, our kids, their era, they might host the World Cup.
Welcome back to Daily Thetha, guys. Sakhuluma about World Cup and sibuka nana ukuthi ifala khona the legacy of World Cup iyiphi, because some BNBs abakhona and ama structures abakhona, but then again so sustain kanjani on the couch njengamanje siduce naye ke ubaba uSakhumzi Maqubela, oyi founder of indawo edume kakhulu lapha isakhumze lapha kuVilakazi Street. Welcome to Daily Thetha.
Siyabonga baba Shandu.
Into engayisho kubaba wena baba Sakhumzi ukuthi ungomunye wabantu okutheni even after the World Cup naqhubeka nenza umsebenzi omuhle. Yini imfihlo yenu ukuthi namhlanje nisasebenza nisenza imali and akusafana even maybe more than into eyenzeka ngo2010?
Before 2010 we've had many events, bigger events in South Africa.
Yeah.
Bekuza abantu bathi bazoletha abantu besihlala sifold izandla silinde bona ukuthi bazoletha abantu eVilakazi Street ngoba kunabo babo Archbishop, kunabo babo Mandela, bengenzeki lutho ngoba silinde abantu basenzela izinto. So this time akuthiwa kune 2010 sesasihlupha senza research yini 2010 kwenzekeni kwamanye amazwe makuthiwa kune World Cup thina singazipositiona njani. Yini yoni World Cup, FIFA World Cup. Abobani abayisupportayo, abobani ama-sponsor. So sahamba sayokokota kulo ma-sponsor lawo. Sazipositiona kubo. So ibizoba for isikhathi esingakanani World Cup for a month. So if kuza i-SAB Miller from overseas, if kuza i-Coca-Cola from overseas, iza nini? Iza a month before. So kwenzekile ukuthi siyayibona i-World Cup a month before. Before bahambe labantu baya prepare futhi into zabo bayahamba i-team ayiphela bebesaza ngekapi seyiphelile World Cup. So that's why iyayenza kwenzeka besinabantu abayi 40 abasebenza eSakhumzi. Team akufika World Cup saba nabantu abayi 80 abasebenza full time.
Wow, that's a good story to tell.
Yeah.
So sesakhula nanti.
Then again maybe I need to come in. ngiyayizwa indlela elenza ngayo izinto mawubheka kufaile kuphi kubantu abaningi ukuthenini bengakwazi ukusustain this legacy.
Inkinga yethu sivumela abantu bathi bazosenzela izinto siba nethemba mase umuntu omnyama kanti it's high time sizenzele izinto kunento ekuthiwa iGoogle kufuneka sisebenzise yona.
Umngani wakho uGoogle yes. Thetha Amos, Sakumzi is definitely a good story. We also had another good story. SA tourism. I mean, post 2010, Ilea Boomer, people were curious about South Africa. About South Africa, I mean, maybe those are some of the things that we need to perhaps talk about. Did you guys ever cover that as a newspaper, or the tourism part of, the World Cup legacy?
Yeah, definitely. There is a lot of sustainability in tourism. If you look at the figures, I mean, almost every month, every quarter, every year, the statistics are there and they show that, there is a sustainability in tourism. Soweto especially, if we have to look at an example close by, because there's a lot of things that are happening, and like in Thetha Sakumzi says, a lot of people by long they are in the tourism space Soweto. They are not waiting for anyone to come to them, related promises. They go out there, they do their own thing, by innovative, by the packages, I mean the quad biking, the chaff pussy, there's a new one now where you can toss Soweto with a chopper. So I think that has really helped, and obviously because a World Cup also really exposure, because a lot of other people around the world never saw South Africa, probably before 94 or 94. So it helped to reposition the country to say, beyond apartheid, beyond the first democratic elections, here is this country that is really building itself from the ashes of the past.
Let me come to you, Brafil. 13 billion rand that was invested with project here, 2010 World Cup. Ubani ngempela owa benefita, is it the youth? Ma development centers are corner, or is it just also ma business abathile, or ngokubona kwakho who benefited from kakhulu kulo 13 billion rand esikhuluma ngawo?
I think the country as a whole have benefited on that 13 billion. Because if you look at it, some projects that were supposed to be a 25-year project, it became a 6-year project. And then we've managed to achieve lots of things in a short space of time for the sake of World Cup. There's a lady who just talked about the Gautrain part of it. No one was thinking that we'll be having Gautrain. Our roads are looking good, airports, they are looking good. And then when people arrived there in South Africa, some of them, it was for the first time they come to Africa, and then they fall in love with South Africa. They're coming back for holidays now, and there's so much we're benefiting out of that.
Perhaps let's ask a question to the audience. Why go South Africa? It seems like, I mean, if you look back at some of the people back in the business during the 2010 World Cup, they were giving us perfect service. People were coming up with businesses and business ideas. Now the World Cup is gone. Complacent in South Africa. That service is people are no longer thinking outside of the box. I mean, people were doing amazing businesses. Perhaps if you can just tell us why, as a South African, we've got that culture.
I nagnana South Africa
Rabotswa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ga batla ona hanela. Ha motho a tla ka idea a tswa ka ntle. Se ga batla gore re etse ya rona. Se ga mo blame go o renketse mosebetsi nka be le gona re etsa. Hape na tabe ya FIFA World Cup ke bona at least tshotlo e golampe.
Okay.
No jeveting lu ile sel 14 sel 15. The next month me butla bo ke 17 hape. So na tabe ena
so ko qaqwa ala benefits a
qaqwa ha ona ntho e entsweng ho thuwa ba tswa maluti renovate fela azango we tswe nix stadium Chelsea Mpedi entse le jwalo majwang a chile kore le FIFA azange ye qaqwa ha ka e bona nna
so ala bona le pass e
wa ka bana le basenyana hona le di potholes from Ritz ha ya qaqwa hona le di potholes mo Ritz khona ke qala go lokiswa this year ke ne ke ya hael this year ke bone le khona di le mbiterenyana mara ntse di le teng mara to FIFA World Cup it is studying at least nix qaqwa
Thanda kubanzima kakhulu, but that's what we're talking about namhlanje. If now Sekhaya can give us a call, it's 011-339-1315 or sithole enkundleni zokuxhumana sikhuluma about the legacy ye World Cup yabo 2010. Some separate in Sabu after this.
Welcome back to Daily Thetha. Nzer bla bla ka taba ya World Cup. Le legacy ya yona re nyako tsheba hore na when na e go thushe ka ying, especially re lebella, you know, the differences between the urban areas and the rural areas. In the urban areas izinto ngazibezenzakala. But what happened in the rural areas? Did they actually get anything? We are joined on the couch by Luvo Spononomlobeli, who is a sports commentator, and then also Thabang Dlamini, who runs a company called Tumamina. And you started this company, Thabang, on only 15 years. Yes. That is absolutely amazing. But welcome to Daily Thetha. All right, let's go straight into this conversation. You started Tumamina where? Was it in the rural areas, or did you have a benefit urban area? Where did you start it? How did you get people? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so Tumamina, as you said, I started it when I was 15. So now, at a very tender age, I noticed time is the most precious resource that people do not have.
Yes.
So now, a lot of members in my community, which were elders, didn't have time to run their errands. One, maybe their time was occupied by work, or maybe health issues, or because they had to do something. So I thought to myself, no man, my chance. While still like while there's so isikhathi sethu singayenzi nix while singasebenzisa lesikhathi sethu sinceda abantu abanganasikhathi sithola imali. So by then ngingakayicabangi kanjalo, like I was like, hey, bayangithuma ngithola something. Then from then on the later stage masengiqeda isikolo ngabona ukuthi no man, there was something I was doing way back engangisustain namanje from
there. Because ekasi bathi next door makakuthuma, you're a child of ekasi.
Yes.
Akunokuthi singakubhadala ukuthi sikuthume.
Yes, but leyo little incentive wetholayo.
Yeah.
Sometimes bakupha amakheke more special abogogo. Now amakheke it is nakanjalo. So mangulo ngikhula man ngiyabona man, plus I was doing economics esikolweni. I said le vision le dreaming nalo naku bayasicala bal structure my from then ngathi mangiphuma vela ngathi Tumamina courier services and bengilenza ngebicycle nama ngisayenza ngebicycle.
So in 2010 how was the business?
Yo, like in 2010 sinama-agents wami, we had to know ukuthi ubani uthengisa umakarabha elokishini, ubani othengisa ini elokishini, ama-key holder we-Barcelona. Now when they called, Tumamina sting ama-ice or ama-refreshment, mele sigijime fast. If i-service ethi quick, we even get tipped ngenye indlela kushaye Monday sibasha sinabangani.
Come on. you started this thing before Uber Eats, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, well, let me come to you, Babsa Kumzi, on this side, because I'm seeing now ukuthi kukhona abantu abakwazile ukuthi ba benefit from then and until today. But then again, masithe ibheka lezi ndaba bakhuluma, it's more urban or election. Do you think abantu basemakhaya they benefited somehow ku World Cup yango 2010, or abanye abantu bathi mabekhuluma ngayo bekhuluma about the game?
Abantu ababenefitile, abantu bebefuna ukubenefit.
Okay.
Kunabantu bebe licensing abarana ama restaurant zingirani restaurant. We association ama restaurant abayibiza Restaurant Association of South Africa. So bayakhala ukuthi base sentini babelungu, they never benefited. Why bebalinda ngoba bebazi ukuthi kuzogcwala. So bakhona abala esentini abangabenefitanga, bakhona basemakhaya. Nasemakhaya bakhona babenefitile if abantu bebaziposition. You had to know ukuthi kuza ama tourists azohlala for how long. Maqeda ibhola kuzokwenzekani, bafuna ukwenzani. So if you market yourself, people will come to you.
But Sakumzi, before Siza we put this ponono, I can see you shaking your head. Perhaps you can comment on that before we even come back to this question.
No, ukuthi mina engisho ukuthi masithi emakhaya abantu bakhona bayafisa nabo ukuthi ba benefit somehow. But now like thina kule side labothembisa we had ipark okuthiwa i-Drisnemand. You know ngale eKempton Park. Then abantu bebekwazi ukuthi bahambe bayothengisa lapho because lento le iseduze kwabo. So manje mangaba ngile emakhaya ngisebhizana ngiselisikisiki labantu bengasondeli kimi even if ngizipositiona nje omaphi Tatu Sakomsi.
All I'm trying to say bekunama fan clubs yes la Joburg. Emakhaya if bekuthiwa une BNB emakhaya. Akunamuntu ozovela aze nje agogoda engazi ukuthi ukhona. Kunento ekuthiwa i-marketing i-business. I-business inkinga yethu siyiwela i-staff.
And esikhuluma ngalabo abawela i-business staff ngoba abanye abantu they just converted
abantu abacomplainayo abantu abawela i-business staff. Mawuzovula i-business funeka wenze lento ubuyenza mangabe ubusebenza. For example bengisebenza e-FNB kunama department kwi-business. Khona i-HR, khona i-marketing, kwi-marketing kune PR, kune advertising. So if I advertise ngi business yakho umuntu uzoza njani ku?
Kodwa
And the government, maybe nayo promise, I don't know if he promised good, kuzoza abantu abaningi. No one said abantu abenza ama PNP, no one said start a business. But if you're gonna start a business, even now won't come fundamentals a business.
Okay, let's just quickly go to social media before Cesar Gwen. There is something coming from Tula and Sepo Kumaluti. Guys, wake up. It was roughly 30 days tournament. How did you expect a long-term job? We benefited economically, but for a short time, part of the reason and the reason why we had an exchange, 8 rand per dollar. That's what he's saying.
Jeez, it was better than it is right now.
Exactly. Let me just quickly come to you, my brother. Do you think Mpela we expected too much from the World Cup?
Yes, my name is Thetha. What I can say about 2010 is that yes, there are people who benefited from 2010. Yeah. There were guys that I know from my hood.
Where's the hood?
Here at Dobsonville.
Okay.
They would wake up and sit at the corner, but because of 2010, they got those temporary construction jobs. Okay. And from that, they got experience. Now they're working at bigger companies. So because of 2010, at least they got the experience from those small part-time jobs.
So from the street now, they are in corporate companies?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's a good thing. That's a good story. As we see Charlie from because something good happened. Something good.
Luvo, you're a sports commentator.
Kahle kahle mangithi nje sisi esikwenzayo kakhulu makhona lama township tournaments ila uthola ukuthi si commentator khona kakhulu. Then ngenhlanhla enkulu ngo2010 ngangisebenzela community radio yasethembisa. So whereby sathola ithuba lokuthi sisakaze kugcwele abantu because uthola ukuthi we've got ama outside yes uthola ukuthi we go to emaparkini especially ngesikhathi senza that build up. So ngasho
now benefited.
Yeah, ngithola umsebenzi kwangisiza lokho but ke into mina yavela ngikhalisa kakhulu ukuthi ngesikhathi ifika kukhona ama projects bekhona bokulungiswa ama ground awaselokishini you know bawalungisa I think ekasi balungisa boma 5-6 awawo but now iproblem ekhona ukuthi after seyihambile World Cup nalama ground lana ahambile why ngithi ahambile utshana busekho lapha yana i-maintenance
but irresponsibility yabani and perhaps maybe as South Africans also we need to take a step back basakhela ama ground but now ama ground shouldn't the community then come together and say na ground basakhele let us as a community sinakekele
like manje sinomasipala oncedisa ukubhekela iMakhulungu Stadium.
Yes.
Why umasipala angathi okay guys asondeleni somphakathi sizothatha abanye abantu bagade le ground leyana abanye bagade leyana or kube khona i-rotation because uma ungafika manje ema stadiums uthola abanye balele manje bazoze basebenze if igame ikusasa then in that week ila besebenza khona why singabathatha sibasebenza
maybe a quick one before say breaking I want to find out from you ukuthi do you think ukuthi la South Africa sinale tendency ukuthi senze izinto makuzofika abantu abathize and then after that asena ndaba nalezo zinto ukuthi zenzakala kanjani
Uyiqiniso futhi sinayo lonto yokuthi uthola ukuthi sikwenza manje sibheke ukuthi sikwenze manje bese singasacabangi outside the box ukuthi uma sebehambile labantu laba sibenefita kanjani ngizokupha nje isibonelo kunabantu laba besibabiza ngama volunteers during i2010 World Cup mawufika stadium ebakuthatha bakufake bakuse lapha yana sinekhosafa manje khona eqhubekayo baphi labantu laba ingabe bona bazi availile na bathi guys sike sasebenza ngale here we are sicela nisebenzise again abantu benceda with accreditations and all that where are they manje bazilungisela for that particular moment.
Okay, we're going to go for a quick ad break. When we come back we carry on the conversation around ya legacy ya World Cup. Please do stay with us. Welcome back to Daily Thetha and Self-Love Like a Legacy at 2010 World Cup. I am joined on the couch by Supimelelo Fetsi-Kwinana, who started a clothing brand company. And I mean, he's saying they've been doing absolutely amazing. We'll speak to him just now, Kini. Perhaps we can hear, Horna, what do you have on your side?
I have something from Derek. Derek, you have a question of Opera Phil Njengamanje. What is your question?
Okay. My name is Derek. Ke khopela o buisha Mr. Phil or no? in terms of development ko mahae le kgona ho fihla bang re le thusha batho ba bantši cause ko mahae o na le talent e ntši mara ba kgone ho bana la cause ba gole le dintho tse ntši wa bona cause at least le mo Thembisa o ka lebella o na le di mo fihla mo la bo Winnie Mandela o na le batho ka ba tletse ba dlala a sharp ampe mara a ona.
Where's home, by the way?
I'm from Bochum originally.
Oh, Bochum.
Yeah, I think Neltovi's been working hard.
I'm sorry, microphone.
Neltovi's been working hard on having a better structure because alone as a technical director, it's not easy. He's doing his best to make sure that each and every province must have a technical director, and then each and every province, when it's got technical directors, they will help regions to have people who are overseeing the development of football in different areas.
Is that plan something man that you guys are working on, or is something that you're thinking about? Maybe I want to find out that which Kwenzakala and Profil.
No, it's part of 2022 vision. That's SAFA. 2022 vision, yes, of SAFA. And then we are halfway of it now because it started in 2014. Now it's 2018. Now we're expecting to see something happening that is positive before 2022.
Do you have any numbers, maybe success rate in right now?
I'll only talk about on the field part of it because we had our under-17 qualifying for World Cup. We had our under-20 qualifying for World Cup. Banyana qualifying for the Olympics, and under-23 qualifying for the Olympics. It shows that there's a lot of development that is happening behind the scene.
A quick one before I come to Ekauchina. I want to find out something from Bra Amos next to me. Bra Amos, when you look at the legacy that what we're talking about today, what legacy do we have or look at? Is it maybe the corruption that Airlandela after a World Cup, or there's something positive in Mpela? This is the legacy that we have.
I think it's a mixed legacy, and like you're rightfully saying, unfortunately, after the World Cup, or shortly before the World Cup, as we know, 2009, we had a new administration coming into the office, and that administration, we all know, it has not been, one of the best administrations. And so, in the bigger picture, some of the things that happened due to the World Cup that were supposed to benefit all the citizens of the country were messed up as a result of that administration. Things like maintenance of those facilities that were put out there in Amalokishin, in Asemakaya, and so on and so on. As well. Overpricing as well. So now the problem is that those facilities are not being maintained. And why are they not being maintained? Because our municipalities are almost non-functional, especially those in rural areas. So that is one of the problems that we've seen.
Let's go to the couch, Nicolette.
Under 23 is but we'll discuss that on another day. As the business people, Pumelele myself and perhaps Tabang, there was a collusion. The stadium, construction collusion, the stadium, and about benefit. How do you, as a young business person, feel about that?
I personally think it's all about taking ownership, showing yourself, because we'll never know you until you come on board. For me, from tender age, I realized if I don't network and create all this network around me so that I can learn. I think most people have so much high expectations, and now they were unfulfilled, they were hurt because they say promises were made, but things didn't happen. So for me, selling t-shirts at a young age, I was like 17 years old. I learned. It's all about learning. Experience what customers wanted. Tourists come to South Africa, they want to buy our culture, the experience. Who are we? What are our intentions? So me as a young businessman, that's what I wanted. To learn and grow. 3 years later, fortunately, I started my company.
In 2010, what was your biggest takeaway from 2010?
I'll say, I managed to network with the right guys.
Oh, I know right guys. Not just fag.
Clients, man. I mean, we had clients from abroad. They came to South Africa. They wanted to, experience our culture. Who are we? What are our intentions? So
what was your offering? What was your service or product offering?
We customized t-shirts. We sold to customers, African prints and everything. So my brand, what we're trying to do, we link urban culture with our own African thing.
I see. Well,
so because often we fell in love with urban stuff. And then, without realizing that tourists, they love us for who we are. So I merge the two and make one thing.
That's actually a great story. But Sakile, next to me, I want to find out from you, Guti, Vision 2022 that Ophil was talking about, what would you like to see happening better?
like players from Ekastle to like getting some, even if it's 1 or 2, just to give the others hope to continue playing football. Don't be a local legend. Most of our players, and it's a ground way to, because we still have sports grounds. We have a ground it's 2 grounds. There's one next to the ground that we use. Like that one it's desolated. So if isn't maybe have like 2 matches playing in one area. Because we also hold tournaments in to like it's a big hood,
Okay, cool stuff.
Let's find out from Thetha Amos just to close off the show. Giving legacy, you spoke about the different legacies, but for when a giving legacy, South Africans, especially Baswa, they must take from the World Cup and take it forward.
I think it's more of an experience than, like I was saying earlier on. In most cases, we are fixated about stadiums, about the roads, about the trains and so on. But what I want us to take into account is the experience, like he's talking about. Ntatesa Kumzi earlier on referred to the same thing. From those experiences, how do we then move forward? Because those experiences are the ones that are going to help us to have sustainable legacies. Because like you are saying, the stadiums, some of them are just going to be white elephants. The roads, we had issues with e-tolls. So the train, it's only here in Gauteng. So, but in terms of the experiences, how we can do things for ourselves and how we can sustain our small businesses, and other entrepreneurship efforts, it's all about the experience and sharing those experiences.
Okay, cool stuff. Sponono, quick one before we go. Less than a minute.
No, nami ngivumelana nobaba ukuthi it should be about indaba yokuthi into nayo siyiqalile, the dream has been triggered, then siya kanjani manje phambili, because sibanenkinga ukuthi sifuna ukuthi si-achieve everything ngalo 30 days. Angeke sakwazi ukuthi sikwenze lokho. So umasipala ngancedisa naye ekutheni, okay guys, this is what you have started. Manje ukuya phambili, this is how we do it. It's all about maintenance. But nathi kubalekile singabantu abasha especially ukuthi siphume sithi okay bafethu, if there was an event besinayo la kule township yethu, then if our kama events asambeni siyozama kwezinye indawo akini.
Okay, so mina from past experience into engifundile kakhulu from 2010 up until now. If you take care of the community will take care of you.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Siyabonga kakhulu. Sesibheke yona ke Tunisia and Nigeria, as well as amazwe afana nabo Morocco, Senegal as well. Ukuthi nisiphathe kahle nawe Egypt. Ngenzeka nisirepresent bafana siyaxolisa.
Yes, thank you very much for tuning in. Bye bye.